So today I'm joined by Sean Eden of SE3. Sean is only 3 years into business and currently 2 people, soon to be 3. He's already over 600k of fees in 1 year, which is phenomenal for a QS consultancy. In this episode, we talk about the fact that Sean's next hire is going to be a director, which sounds unusual for the size of business, but Sean's very clear that he needs somebody else to help him continue to grow the business, to be the extra senior leader in the business. And I applaud Sean for taking such I would say a wise decision to go after somebody so senior at such an early stage in the business, so that he has somebody who can take on that journey with him and help him grow the business further. I think you'll get a lot of this episode. Sean was very honest about his experience and his life, almost losing him to the industry as a poker player way back when, but sticking with it and becoming a really established QS, then set up his own business, and about how he learned from some amazing kind of mentors and managers over the years that has enabled him to now set up the business that hopefully will grow year on year. Right, welcome to the pod, Sean. I'm delighted to be joined by Sean Eden of SE3 Projects, a Northwest-based consultancy. Sean, you can probably tell everyone a bit more about the business than I can. So if you can just maybe give us an highlight of where you are now in terms of size, turnover, I guess major project focus.
Yeah, sure. So we started in September 2023. Right. So we've not even been going 2 years at this point. Yeah. As it stands, there's me and a senior chartered QS working with me. Mm-hmm. We've grown quite quickly to the point where we're looking to recruit and add to the team at the moment. Mm-hmm. We're based in Preston on Winkley Square. In terms of turnover, for the first financial year we were active, there's about 8 months of it left, and we did about 100k. Right. From a cold start as well. Yeah, brilliant. Completely cold start. We had no work when we started at all, no leads or anything. Second year we did 230. Right. And this year, conservatively, I'm forecasting 650. Wow. And with about 400k of that secured already at this point in the year. So
amazing.
So it's really positive and it's exciting.
It really is. We got any sleep?
No. That's part of the challenges.
That's seriously some impressive turnover, which is good for the headcount.
For two of us, it's really good. But we are starting to struggle a little bit, but we've got reinforcements coming. So
yeah. Excellent. Yeah, no, pleased to have helped you with that. That's really good. I'm excited to see the continued growth. What sectors have you mainly focused in so far?
So I think my personal experience is across all sectors. Mm-hmm. I've managed to work at some great businesses over the years, and I've got very good multi-sector experience. I can cobble together a very impressive CV for anything. We're quite limited in what we can do at the moment. Obviously, new business starting out. We're not going to be working with some of the big clients yet, although we started to actually.
Yeah, okay.
So right now we are working in industrial, residential and infrastructure. Okay. And we're just about to do a bit more residential on top of the little bits we've got at the moment as well. Okay. So
good. So I'm intrigued about the infrastructure side because that's often difficult to get into in terms of the size of business.
Yeah, so that it's a bit of a crazy story, actually. I'll go into that. So when I started, day one, sat down, obviously, like I said, it was a cold start with no clients or leads. Sat there at my desk first day. What do I do? What do I actually do? I started building a website. Right. I tried to just kind of save costs and do things on the cheap while I had time. Sure. So I built the initial website, which is getting redone at the moment, but I spent a load of time messing around on WordPress, getting that right, and I hit live on the website. Right. And no word of a joke, half an hour after I hit live, someone had come through to the website and called me up about an infrastructure job.
Maybe you need to go into website design. That's impressive. I get you look at ours.
the stars just aligned. So I'm based in Lytham, and it was for a job with Blackpool Council. Right. A £25 million infrastructure scheme around the airport, and they wanted somebody local. And what they'd done is just searched for somebody local, arrived at my business, picked up the phone, and that resulted in almost 100k fee straight away. So got off to a flyer there with that one.
There's always a degree in business, isn't there? You've got to work hard, as I'm sure you're finding out now, running your own business. But sometimes there's and I do believe you make your own. You got to put yourself out there, but sometimes there is a bit of luck needed.
Yeah,
that just happens sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there has been a lot of luck to it.
Yeah. And so obviously, Preston's obviously just because of where you are in the northwest. There's no point in you schlepping into Manchester every day in terms of managing your own kind of day.
No, I did that for 17 years. Yeah. I'm from Warrington originally. He used to commute into Manchester every day to work here, and then I've relocated to Lytham. Yeah. And I mean, in an ideal world, I would set up there, but it's out in the sticks. So just decided to come inland a bit into Preston. Yeah. Got good access by trains and motorways, so it'll help me recruit some staff.
Yeah, that's got to be a consideration, hasn't it, at the end of the day?
And even then, it's hard where I am at the moment, because the pool it's not as big as Manchester.
No,
so it's hard. It's a challenge.
There's pros and cons, because I think equally, you've of course always got to be a good employer, but an extra additional dynamic is if you're actually close to somebody's doorstep, then it helps. Well, it makes it easier for them as well, doesn't it? At the end of the day, so. Whereas you're almost constantly competing, and even if you are a great employer in Manchester, just people are constantly getting peppered with opportunities, really exciting projects. Here's a massive pay rise, whatever it may be. Yeah. So in some ways, it may be difficult to find the people for you, but I think probably when you find them in Preston, you've probably got more of an opportunity to keep them sticky to you, basically.
Correct.
Not maybe go elsewhere.
There is a lot of people commuting in from Preston to Manchester as well, so might get their interest to come a little bit closer to home. Yeah. Be a bit more flexible with the personal life.
Yeah. So you've had really decent growth so far, certainly from a fee perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously you've invested heavily in the next person who's joined you, which we'll have to obviously, I guess, not mention at this stage, but the point is another senior individual to help you grow. What are the plans, Sean, going forward?
You've just alluded to, we've got a director joining us in 6 weeks' time, I think. He's on a long notice period, so been waiting a long time for that, and that's really going to help. He works in different sectors to me, so he's going to open up some more doors, which is fantastic. We're recruiting at intermediate level at the moment. But in terms of where I want to go, I just need to keep monitoring that, really. I'm not looking to grow a huge consultancy at all. Yep. Why I set up originally was because I wanted to deliver a really high level of service. And I need to monitor that as we grow and make sure that that's still being met.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, because the danger is you do the opposite, don't you? You can grow too quickly and then the service quality drops.
Exactly. That's what it was all about, service quality. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was giving the best service in the past because I was too stretched. So the growth plans have to align with that service delivery. Yeah.
But equally, your next appointment could have just been a senior QS. They're probably the hardest ones to find, but you could have been. Yeah. The point is, you've almost kind of signalled some intent, I guess, Sean, by making a director level appointment. So as much as you sound like you're kind of playing it down slightly, you're clearly not. You made a hell of an investment there, haven't you?
I have,
for the size of business.
It just felt like the right thing to do, go in at that level and bring somebody really senior in. It'll take some stress and weight off me, which 100%. I've been carrying for a couple of years, and it's heavy. It is heavy.
I know. It's heavy. And on top of that, somebody else to bounce off, somebody to give you some fresh ideas. All that kind of good stuff that comes with it. It's really important to have a kind of senior leadership team. Even though maybe you only have one other individual at the moment, it's still you having to make all the decisions.
Correct.
Whereas you bring another director, they'll bring their own experience along with your experience around working at a senior level within organisations, and they might say, well, maybe we should look at this process here in the business and do it differently. Yeah. It's like, oh, brilliant. I've not even had time to think straight, to think that could have been a solution, because that's it, isn't it? I'm sure you are running like a headless chicken all the time, just trying to do everything,
to an extent,
run the business, everything all at once.
Yeah, it's just going to be a really good move. Yeah. There's going to be 2 really senior people to help develop younger staff as we bring them through.
Amazing, yeah.
It'd be nice to have a holiday as well. Been quite limited on those.
I bet,
because I've got limited cover, or have had for most of the time. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's going to allow me a bit of flexibility as well.
100%. It's what you got to do when you set up a business, isn't it? You got to just work hard, but you can't do it indefinitely. You'll burn out if you do it constantly as well. So, going back a bit, Sean, a story everyone's really interested in. I think is really interesting in terms of the wider industry at the moment. Just before we went live, talking about the lack of like chartered QSs coming through the system.
Yeah.
How did you get into the industry in the first place?
Like everyone, I suppose, quantity surveying finds you. No, not many people when they're young go, I want to be a quantity surveyor. It finds you.
Yeah.
So I went to school, went to college, had no idea what I wanted to do whatsoever. I did topics that I was good at, like maths and IT and statistics. Finished college, still had no idea, and I was going to go and just study maths at uni full time.
Yep.
My dad was a public health engineer at Hawley, and he picked up the phone to Davis Langdon.
Right.
He got in touch with Stephen Frood, who then invited me in to their Manchester office, literally just down the road there, because they were in Cloister House. And all it was supposed to be is he was going to explain to me what the profession is, because I didn't know anything at the time. So I went in for what I thought was a casual chat, and it turned out to be a full interview.
Right.
And I left there with a job offer.
Right.
I was on the degree course a couple of weeks later at Salford.
Wow. Brilliant. So you did it, big kind of part-time degree. Amazing.
Yeah.
Which I still argue is, I reckon, probably the best way certainly now going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's
Definitely.
what people should be doing.
Yeah. Just getting that on-the-job experience while studying was just invaluable.
Brilliant. So obviously at the time, could be argued probably the best at the time, Davis Landon, in terms of the overall industry. I'm sure that's quite a controversial statement, but probably, if not the best, one of the very best. And sadly now, to be people watching this now, like, who were Davis Langdon? But at the time, created a lot of individuals who are now leaders in the industry in different organisations.
Yeah. They were without a doubt at that time the number one by far. Really, really highly regarded, and very fortunate to have started there.
Yeah.
But I did get off to a very rocky start there.
Sounds like a story. Then what happened there?
So I started in 2006,
right?
Training on 15 grand a year.
Yeah.
Actually, no, starting on 14 and a half in the September.
Wow.
And then in the December, I had a little bump up to 15. Right. 15 grand a year.
I felt rich at the time.
No. Well, to be fair, it was great then. But then 2 years later, the recession hit in 2008, and the office went down from, I think it was 120 when it started, down to about 40.
Wow.
And it was just a really difficult time. I was tied in, obviously, because of my degree, for 6 years. So the whole period, plus another year after my studies. And I didn't get a single pay rise in that entire time because they weren't giving them to anybody. So I found myself, 6 years into my career, still on 15 grand. Wow. And I couldn't live off it at that point. I think when I started, I remember the train into Manchester was about £4.60 return. Right. And by the end of it, it was £10 return.
Right, wow.
And things had just shot up. I was struggling to live on it.
Yeah. So, was it still? I can't recall when it became ACOM. I can't recall what year ACOM bought Davis Langdon. Was it ACOM by the time you'd left, I presume, or?
So I was part of ACOM for a little bit. I think it was 2010, 2011, around there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I had a bit of that takeover. Yeah.
So good that you stuck with it, but I guess there's some challenging times there where you thought, what am I doing this for the amount of money I was earning?
I actually left the industry.
Right.
I was playing poker in the evenings.
Right.
Part time.
Right.
And I got very, very good at it.
Right. Okay.
To the point where I was sponsored.
Right. Right.
And playing quite a lot of high stakes tournaments, and I was making far more money in a few hours in the evenings than there was in my job.
And this was actual physical poker at that time, it wasn't like online poker?
No, it was online.
Was it? Right, it was already done by that point.
Yeah,
okay.
the majority of it was online.
Right, okay.
And I did travel around for tournaments as well. But I was making far more money in comparison.
Wow.
And at the end of that 6 years, when I was still on 15 grand a year, I just put in my notice and went, I'm going to do this full time for a bit.
Right, okay.
So So I played poker for a year, full time.
Right.
At that point.
Wow. So, and did you do well that year in terms of earnings from poker?
Yeah.
So what made you stop?
Just mentally draining.
Right.
A few things really. So yeah, I was playing tournaments where I was playing for 10 hours at a time.
Right.
Sat in front of a screen, very solitary.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a people person, so
Right.
I don't like to sit on my own too long.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know whether laws had changed and it'd disappear. So I just did that for a year and then got back into the industry again.
Right. And that was back to Acon or?
No,
Right.
so that was to Sweets,
Right. Okay.
another company that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. When I first started, I'm older than you, Sean. When I first started, it was Cyril Sweets. In fact, was it something before Cyril Sweet? But anyway, it's Cyril Sweet, and there was a game sweet group.
For me, that's where it really started to take off.
Right.
Just an absolutely fantastic company.
Mm. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were a good business. I think changed a lot. Probably over the years you were there, and then further along. But they were, one of the good businesses out there.
Yeah, but again, I was there when that was taken over by Curry and Brown as well.
Yeah. And so, how long were you there in total from Sweets to Curry and Brown to exiting from there?
Can't quite remember, to be honest. Probably 3 to 4 years.
Right, okay.
Somewhere in that region.
Okay.
But it was just great for development.
Yeah.
Really good. I had a great support team around me who got me through my APC.
Mm-hmm.
And a funny one, but it was kind of lacking in management to an extent for part of it.
Right.
So I was thrown some really, really tricky projects to deal with no support, and it was kind of just sink or swim.
Yeah.
I had one project in particular where I came into it halfway through. It's a traditional contract to build a new build school.
Okay.
And there was whispers around the contractor from insolvent and having difficulties.
Right.
And then they took me to adjudication,
right,
on the basis that I was being unfair with them, with the valuation applications and payments.
So how old are you at this point, do you think, roughly?
Probably 25,
right,
around there.
Fucking hell, that was a big thing at the time,
yeah,
for your age, I imagine.
Yeah, so I'm there panicking, I've just got this adjudication through. And it was kind of, just figure it out. So I did, I dealt with it, I did all the responses from our end, and got a good result out of it in the end.
Some of those moments in your career are pivotal, aren't they? Because somebody else could have taken it all over.
Yeah.
But you having to do it and work it out. Right, this is a sink or swim scenario.
Yeah.
I've got to work it out myself. So sometimes they are the bits that kind of further you on your career out there by sometimes those challenging environments. So
ultimately, we got through the adjudication. It was a last-ditch attempt from the contractor who was about to go pop, and they did. And then I had a half-finished building that I needed to get back on track.
Right.
So really challenging time.
Yeah. But learning as well.
Yeah,
in the process.
lots of learning. So
good.
Yeah.
So you had, I think you had maybe 2 or 3 moves after that, Sean. When do you think you knew you were going to set up your own business? What do you think that was that just something you decided one day, or do you think it was something that was in your head for a while? How do you think?
It's never been in my head.
Right. Right.
It was very recently, not long before I started it.
Right.
It was just an idea came into my head. That seems like a good idea. Let's put it into action.
Right. Good. And obviously you've been, well, certainly so far you've been successful. So, right decision to make. Do you have any regrets from doing it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Good.
But yeah, it was. I was at T&T at the time. Fantastic company, working with some great people there. Yeah. But I felt that I was far too stretched. They make you work hard. That's one thing about them. And I was just really, really stretched. And I was looking at the fee income for the jobs that I was actively managing and going, oh my God, this is a huge amount of money.
Right.
And then the thought just got into my head, Sean, what if you go on your own and just win one project? You'll be on the same salary and you'll have a lot more time on your hands. So it just started off as an idea. And then I did all the kind of admin and set it up on Company's House and whatnot. And then went away on holiday, had a real think about it while I was away, and just come back and put my notice in.
Right. I guess
Like
sometimes you got to go for it sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah, like I said, no clients or leads. Hadn't put a lot of planning into it financially as well, so I knew that I had a limited amount of time before I'd run out of money.
Yeah, to make it work.
But as well, it was in my head. It was, well, where's the risk really? There's a shortage of good QSs. If it doesn't work out, I can pick up the phone. I'll be back into, TNT would have had me back. That would have been fine. So there was no real risk there.
I think a lot of people have got to balance this, whether it's setting up your own business, whether it's moving jobs. That's often what I say to people is like, what really is your risk? And people often imagine the worst case scenario, I'm going to be destitute, I'm going to be out on the streets. It's like, no, you're not. You're just going to get another job.
Exactly. And with it being a service as well, your startup costs are really minimal.
Yeah, they really are, aren't they? Especially if you start from home, you literally...
Yeah, that's what
a laptop, I guess some insurance and a few other bits.
Yeah, Excel and some measurement software, off we go.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that is the reality. Which brings us probably nicely onto a question I'm asking a lot of people, just because I think we're at an interesting time, aren't we, in terms of the acceleration of technology in the world. And, we touched on it a little bit earlier about AI, but where are you now from a kind of tech standpoint in terms of what software are you using, beyond Excel? Is there anything else you're using, both in terms of to do the day job, but also to manage the business?
We're quite light on the tech side at the moment. We're using 365 for our document management.
Which is great. 365 is great, and there's so much in it that none of us use all of it, do we? There's so much of it.
Yeah, but we've been playing around with some of those things like Microsoft Loop and whatnot. The automated elements of it. But we've been using Bluebeam to start off for the measurement part, but we're just transitioning over to Costex at the moment.
It seems to be winning, doesn't it? In terms of market share, Costex seems to be winning.
Yeah, it's just it's difficult to start off with because we're on a Wi-Fi connection in a shared office space, and they can't get it to work. Costex.
Right.
On that connection, we need to move into our own place with our own dedicated line to get that properly up and running. We've got a workaround, but
Right. So what has made you transition from Bluebeam to Costex?
Just want to get more stuck into the workbooks and the rates libraries more than anything. The measurements, there's not much in it really. They're both good tools for that, but Costex is a bit easier to use.
Right. Okay. And then internally, you use anything from a kind of management perspective or team collaboration perspective?
Yes, we use
at the moment, but
we used a tool called ClickUp.
Oh yeah.
Do you know that one? Yeah.
I'm starting to look at it for just something else I've got in the back of my mind about how we make our business better. Yes, I've started playing with this. It's a clever little bit of software, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. So we've got all of our jobs set up on there. We've got kind of standard templates. It's really easy to organise your work there and use it as a project management tool, essentially. So
you can give like clients separate access to it as well, can't you? If you can do as a separate thing to do.
We haven't done that. We're just using it internally. But it just allows us to clearly paint a picture of all of our active jobs, where they're up to, what needs to be going on. We can automate some tasks so they're repetitive.
Right.
It spits out an agenda for each day, which is really handy based on all your deadlines. So you can literally pull up your agenda, run through that, and you're clear on what you need to do for that day, and off you go. And we're actually using it as well for some basic CRM at the moment. So it has that functionality. Yeah, we'll probably move into something a bit more substantial further down the line, but for now it'll work for the CRM.
Yeah, and reasonable as well, isn't it? It doesn't cost a lot, does it, really, for the user?
No.
So it's really good in that regard.
Yeah, and they're starting to add more automations to it as well, and it seems to be developing a lot as a piece of software.
Yeah. And as well, with any of these kind of pieces of software, they're all in their own ecosystem with massive number of integrations as well, aren't they? So whether that be connected to something like say Xero or whatever it may be to for the accounting purpose and that kind of thing. There's quite a lot to be done there as well.
Yeah, so we are using Xero for our accounting as well, and within that we've got the projects package.
Yeah.
Which is really handy because it's all live linked, so we've got all our projects and fees listed out in there.
Good.
You can do your timesheets directly within Xero, and then it spits out the profitability of each of your jobs based on that, and you can assign expenses to each job.
Yeah.
So that seems to be working really well as well.
Good, brilliant, excellent. And where do you think it's all going to go in terms of the future, Sean, with how AI might influence, what the QS does for a living? Are you a pessimist? Are you an optimist about it, or what do you think it's going to do?
I'm a pessimist in general. Just in terms of the impact it's going to have on the world generally, I'm very pessimistic about it, if I'm honest. I think there's some troubling times ahead with it. But, yeah, still to be kind of seen where it's going to go and how it's going to affect QS. But, very soon it's going to start to automate a lot of sort of the manual tasks. So it'll, take over the quantification entirely. You'll have machine learning, pulling huge rates databases, be able to spit out reports really quickly for you. So all of that element of our role will, be much smaller. But what that will do is free up a lot of time to spend on more meaningful stuff. So we're going to have to adapt, become more strategic, spend more time on really what your clients want, which is driving value and de-risking projects. I think as well as that, we'll be looking more at the life cycle of a building rather than, getting to PC and stopping there.
Yep. Yeah.
We'll be doing more on sustainability and looking at, operational efficiency.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think used the right way, AI can be very positive, can't it? Just make sure it's used the right way. Yeah. I think, again, everyone's getting there's a lot of confusion out there between, everyone's talking, like you use ClickUp as an example, everyone's talking a lot about AI. It's not AI, it's just automation. A lot of it is just like tech with clever automation built into it. AI in its general sense of the word is a different thing entirely. But generally speaking, I think without a doubt, there are certain businesses that have got more of a positive view around, or not more positive view, what's the word? They're embracing the idea of, right, how can we make tech work for us to make it easy for us? And you've got other businesses who are still very, no, we can't do that, we're resistant to it. And I think that latter group have got to be careful.
They're going to fall behind. Because at this point where we are now, there's no choice. You have to adapt. Otherwise, you're going to fall far, far behind. So absolutely. We're going to be quick to adopt what's coming.
And you've got the advantage that you're a small business. I do feel, and this is not just a reflection in the
you're right.
QS Consultancy world. It's every single industry. A lot of larger businesses just will take longer to adjust. It's just a natural thing. A larger business has to go through a lot more kind of due diligence process before they make any changes, whereas a small business can just weave and change very quickly.
I can change things tomorrow if needs be, if something suits. So that really works to my advantage in that respect.
Yeah. And then in terms of SC3, do you think you'll stay just where you are? Do you think you'll stay very much Northwest based? Do you have any ambitions to go beyond the Northwest?
I think we'll be moving into another region eventually. I mean, as it stands, we're doing an awful lot of travelling. Right. We've got projects all over the country, everywhere. So, I think we will expand. We might even just start by having another place in Manchester, which will open us to a larger pool of people. But we will.
It's all about the people. It's all about the people and what strategy you need to deploy to find the right people, I think, without a doubt, going forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Brilliant. So, Sean, I always usually end with the last question of, in your time and in your career, who would you say has been your best boss and why, or mentor or manager? It doesn't necessarily need to be a boss. I know boss is a bit of a divisive word these days, but
There's been loads of really good people I've been fortunate to work with. If I rewind back to when I was at Sweets, I worked with two really good people who helped me through my APC, who were Rositza Chavdarova and Rebecca White.
Right.
And they were just really supportive and helpful and got me through that APC. More recently, working with Maddie and Stuart Sayer at TNT, they're both unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I just really respected the way that they worked. They challenged you every day, made you think about things differently. Yeah. And I suppose working with those two specifically probably give me enough confidence to say, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
So they were really pivotal influences.
Yeah, sharp operators, those two, absolutely. Did you, from your time at Davis, did you ever cross over with the likes of Steve Walther? Because obviously Steve was I was going to say, been there and then again at TNT,
it's quite funny, when you go back to 2006 and then you arrive at TNT almost, 15 years later and Steve Walther was there. So, I didn't work with him directly, but really nice guy.
No, look, as I always say, one of my largest clients in an amazing business. What Turner and Townsend have done, and really sharp people like Maddie and Stuart, etc. in the business. They're a great business. Very driven business, but a great business. So, and that's the great thing, isn't it? What you've done now. Hopefully, you've worked with some really good people over the years, and you can take some of that into, where SE3 will keep on going and keep on saying, right, okay, I'll cherry pick that because that worked for one business doesn't mean everything's applicable for you in terms of what you want to do with the way you shape that business. But hopefully you can, the advantage of working with some of the operators like that in really big businesses, the success of us to do things right in many ways, maybe not everything, but they do a lot of things right. Yeah. And from there you can learn from that and springboard off of that.
Yeah, I've been able to just take some of the best elements from all the businesses that I've worked at and just pull those together into my package essentially. At Sweets, for example, they had a really, really good career development plan for younger staff.
Right.
And they had sort of a page for each level, and it clearly set out what your role was, whether that be sort of with people or internal actions or client-facing project delivery. It set out exactly what you should be doing at each level, but also what you needed to do at the next level as well. So all of your staff had a full plan, and you could go, right, to get here, I need to do X, Y, and Z. We're rolling something similar out. Some of the ways that some of the firms have presented cost plans have been taken on board as well. There's just so many little pieces that I've taken from everywhere to form what I think is a really good package that we're offering.
Yeah, that bit you just mentioned there, I think, is massive. Going back to the Sweets days, about having defined job roles, both in terms of what this role is, but also what you need to do to get to the next level. I think it's one of the areas where the industry is getting it really wrong at the moment. There's a lot of kind of chronic over promotion to try and keep older people in the industry. There's a lot of people walking around, let's say, who are associates, who are really glorified senior QSs, but they've just been given that badge to keep them happy. And I think there's a lot to be said for having the defined roles, and they actually mean something. So if you get to an associate role, it's a proper management role. It's not just a glorified senior QS role.
Exactly.
That kind of thing is you've got to have the separation. And I think the businesses that do that well have grown, and we've just got to be careful in the industry. We don't have, say, an associate director walking around who's not an associate director, as an example, and be quite true to that. Yeah. But equally, to coin the old Alex Ferguson phrase, is also if you're good enough, you're old enough. It doesn't have to be age specific. It just needs to be right. Tick these boxes, get promoted, keep it meritocratic. I think is the way forward. But don't just give people a title for the sake of it, just to keep them happy. That's dangerous.
Yeah. For me, when I was there, I was able to sit down and pull together a pack of information with examples of X, Y, and Z, and then can I have a meeting? Here's what I've done. Can I go to the next level now? Yeah. It just really helped me develop and grow. So
and something I always advise people to do as well with that is, like, when you have an annual review, get something properly out of it, get something written out of it. If there's a set of targets or milestones you need to reach to get promoted, then get it written down and then come back to your boss. But having done it over the course of the year and say, look, here's my evidence, can I get promoted now, please? And it makes it very difficult to say no then.
Yeah.
Rather than just rocking up to the annual review without any evidence. It's like, well, you're not giving me any evidence to promote you, so you're not getting promoted. Yeah. Listen, Sean, I really appreciate you coming on board. I hope SE3 is going. I think you almost kind of sound you present yourself almost very relaxed with it, but there's no relaxed about it. Your growth has been phenomenal. I suspect if I see you in a year's time, you won't be sat at 3 people. You'll have grown, even though you seem quite relaxed about, we'll see what happens. I reckon you'll keep growing.
We will. We will. We'll be looking to have 3 or 4 next year.
Yeah.
The way things are going. So.
Oh, amazing. Look, Congratulations. Hope it keeps going. Hope it keeps being successful.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.